really going to centre ourselves in service, two major things will happen. If we head for a higher spiritual standard, we will have an emotional kickback to deal with. And it must be dealt with responsibly. The other continuum is if we brain it and get all intellectual, which is very good and very nice and very educated, it will have a physical kickback because the cellular structure of our body will recall memories where, I don't know, maybe we got persecuted or sacrificed or someone we were very close to did or whatever. And we will have to, again, come to terms with that. So we've got the spiritual, emotional, we've got the intellectual and the physical. That makes the cross of service the equal four-armed cross. And again, we're centering in the middle of it. It can't happen quickly. And until the people become etherically clean, we actually don't want the energy fields to overlap because it makes the disease worse. That's another thing. We have to learn how to take care of ourselves so that we come up against someone else's, what do you call it, auric field?
Yeah.
We come up against someone else's auric field, we don't penetrate it and we don't disturb it. We hold our space, and within our held space we're rooted to the earth, we're linked to the heavens, and whatever anyone else is putting into our space gets magnified. We want it to be magnified in a good way, not a counterproductive way. Otherwise we're doing harm, we're not healing at all. So we must learn our trade and learn it thoroughly. And we need to cross-check each other right the way along the line, which is what we've been doing for the past 2 years. And it's very useful coming from different disciplines because we have different perspectives. We also have different languages, so we have to learn each other's language well enough to be able to really understand what we're talking about. We must realise we need guidance. Another thing that happens is when we've been in a discipline for a long time, we begin to think we're it, and we get somewhat arrogant. And unless we're humble and unless we're modest, we will be in trouble. There is no doubt about it. And of course, the more people telling you how great you are, the more prone you are to believing the propaganda. So we need our colleagues to disabuse us from any kind of arrogance or desire for fame or whatever it is that we're particularly getting carried away with. If we suddenly have an influx of energy from the heaven or from the earth, it'll be too much for us to cope with. We won't be able to discharge it or understand it thoroughly enough to become it. It's a bit like if you know you're a woman or a man, you don't have to go around telling everyone, it's blatantly clear. If you know that you know your discipline, you don't have to go around telling everyone, because it just is. You just walk into a place and stuff happens. Frightening, really. And you have to be able to cope with that. All of us can walk into a room and people can burst into tears just like that. Well, it's a bit disturbing to begin with. You think, oh, I only said good morning. What's the matter with you? So we have to be guided through the procedures so we're able to cope with them and not take them personally. Detachment and discernment are essential as we move on. So is respect. In fact, I put respect at the top of the list. We must be polite. Doesn't mean to say that we can't bicker. We do it very well. Well, we do, don't we?
We do, we're experts.
But we do it nicely. we're not hopefully offensive or rude, but we do tell our truth and we do laugh. I would wish that for everyone, because it's a very, very solid foundation to work with. The heavens work through you when you work in that way, and so does the earth. And that's spiritual guidance. And every time we take a step forward, we will, to a certain extent, behave badly, and we will have to learn to not offend each other overmuch, to be harmless within the culture that we happen to find ourselves in, and to discharge the history we don't need while taking on board the history we do need to allow us to move forward safely.